over 2,000 miles northeast in Reykjavik, Iceland.
Another beautiful day.
Yeah. The reason why I brought you here today is because, if you remember, we started our journey from Morimondo, the Cistercian abbey near Milan, whose scriptorium produced over 100 manuscripts in the 13th century, basically collecting, translating that knowledge that was brought back from the Holy Land from people like the Templars.
2 weeks ago, Emiliano and archaeoastronomer Professor Adriano Gaspani gave Rick and the team a tour of a 12th century monastery in Morimondo, Italy, that was built by Cistercian monks. A Catholic order that constructed certain Christian houses of worship across Europe according to astronomical alignments with stars in the night sky.
We had the four-dot cross carved on a stone on Oak Island, along with a circle with a dot in the center.
While there, the team not only saw numerous Templar symbols that have been found over the years on Oak Island, but were also informed by Professor Gaspani that the Templars may have employed knowledge of astronomy that they learned in such abbeys in order to construct megalithic formations on Oak Island, including the feature made up of 6 boulders known as Nolan's Cross.
Eventually, that knowledge reached also Iceland. Because what we know is that between the 11th century and the 14th century, in this island were active more than 15 monastic houses. And those abbeys produced hundreds of manuscripts. This one is evidence that very specific knowledge, and I'm talking about astronomy, sacred geometry, arrived here and was processed here. The oldest part is around 1190 up to the early 14th century.
What is the language?
The language is in Latin. There are parts in Norse.
Emiliano, what have you identified in this particular manuscript of interest to our quest?
Not only this manuscript contains information about astronomy, but it also names specific stars. Among these words, there are 4 star names. The first one is Arcturus,
No?
which is one of the reference stars of the Nolan's Cross.
The primary alignment.
Yeah.
Trovo tutta questa serie di stelle luminose, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 stelle luminose.
According to the research of Professor Adriano Gaspani, the star known as Arcturus, which is part of a constellation named Boötes, was used as a key alignment to create Nolan's Cross on the surface of Oak Island. Is it possible that Emiliano Sacchetti has now found a new connection between Arcturus and the Oak Island mystery in a medieval Norse manuscript?
This says that it was important to know the stars, celestial navigation, and probably Arcturus, which was called the day star for its brightness. So probably Arcturus was one of the stars followed because of its brightness.
It's interesting because, again, that says that's useful for sailing at far north latitudes.
Yeah.
There were many interesting things contained within the book, stellar alignments, that we find of significant interest in how it may relate to Oak Island. And it's possible that as we follow this trail of information, it may become more and more interesting and perhaps valuable to us.
You know, I'm sitting here looking at this book, and I'm marveling at it because this is the ribbon-like symbol on our copper piece, and curious, it's next to a representation of a cross.
It's remarkable.
It's not just here on this page, though, it's throughout the text.
That's very interesting.
Is this what you're talking about, Doug, here?
Yes. Yeah, this symbol right here.
Oh, yeah.
Can you see it, Professor?
Yes, they look similar, yes.
In 2022, Gary Drayton and Jack Begley unearthed a copper artifact bearing a number of ornate symbols. And when archaeologist Dr. Edwin Barnhart analyzed a metallurgy report conducted by Emma Culligan, he made a fascinating observation.
It could be some sort of older object. The other possibility is the Vikings.
And see, until we fully understand what this copper piece is, I mean, it's found in pretty close proximity to Nolan's Cross.
Is it possible that Doug Kroll has found more evidence in this 12th century manuscript that may connect the copper artifact found on Lot 8 to the Viking culture? If so, could it also support the theory that Vikings helped the Knights Templar bury priceless treasures on Oak Island?
Makes me wonder all the more whether the astronomical constructs we have on the island, if this isn't somehow associated with it.
It's remarkable, stunning. That symbol we see in the book is the same symbol that we see on the copper artifact. You cannot ignore that. We have found the possibility of connective tissue between this book and representations of symbology found on Oak Island. I just think it's an incredible piece of history. I'm certain all of us will treasure this moment for a long, long time.
Yes, but the journey is not over.
You've got us hooked.
Thank you.
Welcome to the National Museum.
Thank you.
So nice meeting you, Rick.
Nice to see
Hello,
you.
welcome,
I'm Rick.
welcome to Iceland.
Rick Lagina and members of the team arrive at the National Museum.
I'd like to introduce you to Ármann Gudmundsson. He's the curator of the artifacts with the National Museum of Iceland. The main reason why you're here today is because this museum hosts some Roman coins that were unearthed in the southern part of the island, like we found in Oak Island.
Perfect.
In addition to the mysterious stone foundations that the team has unearthed on Lot 5 since they purchased it in 2022, they were stunned to also discover 4 Roman coins that have been dated to between 1500 and 2000 years old.
So here we have the coins. The Roman coins have been found in Iceland. So I think that the Norse settlers that arrived here in the late 9th century, early 10th century, brought them with them. Maybe found in the British Isles or something like that. One is actually found in a known Viking Age or 10th century farmstead.
I'm curious as to what date these were minted on. Do you know the years the coins were issued?
Yeah, this is 4th century.
4th century.
Yeah.
Well, that's great.
Yeah. We were told ours were from 5th century AD.
Right. There must have been many incidents of travel for these to end up here. It's just evidence of an interconnected nature of everything much earlier than we had thought.
Oh, absolutely.
Is what I'm saying.
On Oak Island, we find coins from the same basic era, but the only known European activity in our region of the world before the 15th century is the Norse. So that, in my mind, makes the Norse exploration more important to our investigation on Oak Island.
Is it possible that the team has finally found evidence of just who may have brought the Roman coins that were discovered on Lot 5 to Oak Island? Could that explain other discoveries, including the piece of possible ship's railing that was unearthed in the swamp, the copper artifact that was found on Lot 8, or the numerous tools and decorative lead pieces which have been traced to Scandinavia?
Based on the information derived here in Europe, we know that there was trade between the Mediterranean and the Norse. We know that the Norse traveled the Atlantic. It's a possible explanation why Roman coins are on Oak Island. It is explainable on some level. Ármann, we certainly appreciate your time and we value your expertise. Understanding history has been beneficial to our hunt, our search. Thank you for the information.
Yeah, definitely.
Thank you again.